Good evening, and it's obviously a challenge to say something at the end of a very, very exciting and very nice talks that we have had. As I was introduced by Madhuri, we are the ones, IIT Bombay formed the Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and one of the best models that we had. Many people replicated that model in later years, and we are very proud that we were the pioneers in doing that. Now, beyond the future is a very challenging theme, and we have heard so many beautiful talks today. Now, at the heart of any, when you're thinking of the future and so on, is creativity and development and coming up with new ideas. And that leads to innovations, inventions, and so on. Now, there's a distinction between innovation and invention. Innovation is in improving on something that you already know. Invention is actually going into the future, going into real future. It's something new that you have to do. So I used to be at Intellectual Ventures, which was dealing with inventions and patenting and monetization and so on. One of the things we used to, in the presentation that we had, or at least I had, we used to say, this is the golden age of invention. How wrong one is. Any era that you are sitting in, whether it's today or whether it's the 1900, is the golden age of invention. Around the 1900s, we had many, many inventions, and at one time the patent office, the story goes, it says anything that has to be invented has been invented, so maybe the patent office doesn't need to exist. How wrong he was. That's about the time that X-ray was invented by Wilhelm Röntgen, and he basically had an accidental waves that were coming out, and he put his wife's hand in front of these waves that were coming. It went through the skin but didn't go through the bone, so he could take a picture of that. Beginning of an era of, it was about that around the turn of the century, and he of course got a Nobel Prize for that. Later on, ammonia was synthesized, nitrogen and hydrogen abundant in the, nitrogen abundant in the nature, and ammonia led to the formation of fertilizers which enhance the agricultural production. So very important innovation around the same time. Our own Indian scientist, J.C. Bose, he came up with the radio waves. He is called the father of radio wave technology and radio and microwaves. And at that time he thought that what good will it be, because if he wants to talk to his wife, he doesn't have to make a phone call, just walks home and talks to her. How wrong he was. And so on. So every era is the golden age of invention, because inventions and innovations never cease. And again, going to the basics, new ideas and creativity, and that can only happen if there is good research going on. And we heard a little bit about research and endowment funds and so on. So the country, any country which has to progress in this era, in this direction, has to put money into research, whether it comes from the government or it comes from the industry, it doesn't matter, but it has to be done. And of course, research has to be many kinds. Blue research is the one which will lead to inventions, and applied research will lead to innovations and the like. Now, in today's, we are talking about IITs. There are 23 IITs, and all of them, well, there are older ones, first generation, second generation, third generation. All of them are aspiring to become research hubs and come up with new ideas and so on. So they have to do blue sky research, they have to do applied research, and another thing that we need in India, in our country, is directed research. In some area we want to do research, so all the research that is goes on in the defense sector is directed research. You want to develop something and go towards it. We have to create centers of excellence where specific areas, you just go deep dive into it and take it forward. Now, one of the things that I'm now involved in is IIT Alumni Center Bengaluru. There are several alumni groups. We are one of them. Our main focus is to see how we can be the facilitator between research that is going on and the IITs and the industry to benefit of both, mutual benefit, and then overall benefit of our country. So we have to take these things forward. We have had several successes, but a long way to go. We are the only ones well recognized by the Ministry of Education, mainly because our aim that we put forward was very clear that we are the marriage makers, we are the facilitators for bringing the industry and the IITs together. Recently, we have set up a Center of Excellence in AI, and a lot of talk has been on AI today. And we have received a sizable grant from the government of Karnataka to set up this Center of Excellence, which we wanted to do, but now we have got a funding for it. And we have set up a company, a Section 8 company called SL Technologies Forum, with the aim of attracting startups in the area of AI from the 23 IITs and maybe beyond, but mainly from the 23 IITs. Our next aim is to set up a Center of Excellence in Quantum Technologies, and a third one, which is a little more, sounds a little bit mundane, but very important, is on cutting tools. So a lot of manufacturing is going on, but the material which is made for tools which are doing numerical control, machining, and so on, is not made indigenously, and it has to be developed. Lots of things have come up, and I'll just give you some experiences of mine. When you think of telephony, only a couple of decades ago, if I would make a phone call, and I used to think, like say 20 years ago, that look, if I'm making a phone call, wouldn't it be wonderful if I could see the person on the other side? But then I used to think, oh, if that happened, then I'll have to be better dressed. Suddenly, that has become a norm, and everybody is now doing telephones, in which you can video calls and so on. You can see the person and transmit your thoughts and your expressions across. It has reached a stage, this telephone business, the mobile telephony, that recently I bought a telephone, and there was some, like about a decade ago, if I gave an old Nokia telephone to a driver or a maid, they would accept it. Recently I bought a telephone, a new mobile phone, and my old mobile phone, I wanted to give it to my driver. His question was, sir, ये 4G है कि 5G है? तो I said, नहीं, ये तो पुराना वाला है, 4G है. तो sir, हमको नहीं चाहिए. So this is the kind of customer preferences that have changed over the years from a person who they never had a telephone at home. Now he doesn't want a 4G telephone, even if it is given free to him. The television, some of you will remember, those who are at least of my age, that the old televisions used to be huge with tubes and so on and so forth, sitting on a big table. I used to work in the area of liquid crystals. And one day I was giving a talk to my family actually, and I said, look, liquid crystals is the future of the world, and when liquid crystals come up, then the television screen would be a flat screen hanging on the wall, and we said, ye kya bakwas bol rahe, kabhi nahi hoga. And now the new generation don't even know what an old television looked like. It's all hanging on the screen, LED screens and so on. Driverless cars. If somebody told you that there'll be cars in which you don't, the driver actually leaves the steering wheel and will drive on its own, I would never believe it. But this time I experienced it. I was in a Tesla car of a friend of mine, and he was driving on the highway. It's a little scary, by the way, when he takes the hands off the wheel and the car is going on its own. Little unnerving, but it's happening today. So all these things are things in the future. We have to manage the future. We have to create the future. It won't happen on its own. We have seen the developments in the computers, as Mr. Duper from VIDYA told us where the computer was. 360 computer. I was at IIT Kanpur, and it occupied a huge room, and now that power of that is in your cell phones and so on. So things have changed, and now things have gone to from there to microelectronics, then nanoelectronics, and today we are talking of quantum computing, which will be even smaller, faster, and better. So, what is the mantra? We also need to, alongside, say that we have these things are made in India. Lots of inventions we saw. In fact, when you talk of startups and the funding and so on, myself being a technologist, I am looking at the technology which has gone behind some of the startups that we saw. Some of them are unique, some are packaged differently, and so on and so forth. So the whole thing is that we have to look towards, as was mentioned, make in India, make for India, but also make for the world. Alongside, we have to see that whatever we are doing, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in AI, whether it's in quantum computing, or so many other things that, like Miko was a toy as well as an intelligent communicator, things of that nature that we need to EGOS, new kinds of eggs that are coming up, and so on. So there's a technology involved. So we have to also look at how we will produce these startups, new products, unique products for a Viksit Bharat or advanced India as we move along. So overall, it was a very exciting day where we heard lots of interesting talks, lots of good ideas, and I must appreciate the work that Ivy is doing in attracting and identifying the right startup people, the right entrepreneurs, and taking them forward. Many of them have done well. Alongside, of course, mentoring is also required. It's been mentioned that sometimes there is a startup is good, but the founder may be very arrogant, but it has to be, he or she has to be controlled and told how to make things happen as we go along. You have to have good marketing, you have to have good sales, you have to have good PR, and so on. So, having said that, startup culture in India is there to stay, and IvyCap is playing a very, very important and a crucial role in this arena to make things happen and to make new products come ultimately it's for the benefit of mankind, and that's what is the heart of all this ecosystem. So I would like to again appreciate I didn't want to summarize what people have said because then that's a little boring, so therefore I thought I would put some of my ideas into it. I would like to take this opportunity also to introduce another theme, introduce what we know as Vidya Integrated Development of Youth and Adults. Short form is Vidya. This is an NGO started 40 years ago by my wife Rashmi, who is here. And they aim to educate, empower, and transform children, youth, and women from the underserved communities where people are not easily able to go to schools. What our experience has shown is that these children, especially who have gone to the Vidya school, have really excelled, gone into colleges, and gone into many professional jobs, including Oracle, KPMG, and so on. Many have joined startups and are contributing very greatly. The colleges they've gone to, one or two have gone to IIT also, but several have gone to NITs or Sri Ram College or Ashoka University, Plaksha University, and so on. One of the things that emerged from this experience is that there is no correlation between brain power and poverty. You may be born not so privileged, but given a chance, one can, the brain power is very good and they can excel in at least the education era. What we thought at Vidya is, because I'm also involved with Vidya, is we thought is that if we give these children, either the alumni or those who are still studying or finishing college or finishing school, an opportunity to think out of the box, think of new ideas, and through a tinkering lab and so on, be entrepreneurs and have their own startups. One of the things that challenges that they may pose are different from the challenges which the more educated urban population may come up with. So therefore, new ideas may emerge, new things may emerge. So it will be a new kind of discovery hub that will have innovations of a totally different nature. So with this, I'd like to introduce Rashmi to come over and talk about Vidya a little bit. I think it's through a film. And thank you so much.